thought it'd be a little theatrical. It's going to be a multi-part video here. I'm going to pack so much stuff in here. It's unbelievable. My moment of clarity, my long moment of stupidity has been erased, literally and figuratively, by a moment of clarity. I use this for a sanding block, and I keep saying I like this flexible sanding block because it kind of hugs the curves and contours of a bow, and it's very effective. You don't always want to have a flat sanding block, but it is an eraser to clean the discs of an orbital disc sander or the grit on a belt sander, whatever. It cleans all that sort of stuff, so you don't have to keep replacing them so often. And I go through so many sanding discs, hook and loop, 5-inch, and never used this for what it's supposed to be used for. I'll probably cut my buying of disc sander pads in half by just using this tool that I'm always holding on to for its intended purpose. Duh. Second of all, wow, I've been doing all right selling stuff. I sold that short sinew-back Osage bow that has reached its mark, and I received a favorable response. And I'm about ready to ship this off. I'm going to take some pictures first for my website, which may be done in the year 30,000, star date 2147.6. But yeah, this is going, and also, Brandon, I'm going to be packaging up your bending form and mailing that off today. Work gets in the way, and when you get out of work at 4:30 and you only have a half an hour lunch and the post office closes at 4:30, you're kind of in trouble here. But that said, I'm back in business. I repaired my tillering stick so I can tillerize a couple, hopefully 4 Osage bows to keep up the momentum this weekend, my weekend off. And it's not raining and it's not 50 below zero, so we're doing all right. But I've got some information for you now. This is a little made from a horsebow blank, yeah, fire hardened red oak with the wraps there. That will keep the string on. Very authentic, very low tech. It's a nice little bow. This is what I consider the perfect small bow. Not saying, other small bows aren't perfect, but I really like this. I wish I had this when I was 14 years old. Oh, you want to know the story of John's first bow? I hear nobody asking. So there I was on a family vacate. Rocky Mountain National Park, Trail Ridge Road. There was a tourist trap. I believe it was Trail Ridge Road. I mean, I was a dopey kid. Made it to the top in a tourist trap. And they had a whole bunch of bangles and baubles, and what I knew, I was drawn just like classical Dracula. Come here. To this, it was just a red oak slat. It was just a slat, just a thin, narrow board with a riser glued on it, and then little thing of commercially tanned leather on the handle. And I was drawn to that. That was my first bow. All my little friends had little fiberglass bows and stuff like that. More powerful, but I loved that little bow, and I'd go out, start a fire on the barbecue grill. My parents were pretty liberal on things. Here's a mini bike, go off and hurt yourself on it. Whatever. It was different back then. I was able to start fires as a little kid. It's a lot younger than 14. I don't know if I said 14, but I was just a dopey kid. And I used to go out and get the bacon grease that was in the refrigerator and heat that bow up, and I was never told this. I just knew that you have to grease your bow every so often. I used to love just to build this low fire in the barbecue grill and just grease that bow and have fun. As a side note, geez, what was up with people back then? They didn't care. We would flight shoot in a neighborhood, arrows, and like the neighbor's roof would look like a porcupine. We'd have to sneak up on their roof and then pull the arrows out of the shingles. We used to have battles using garbage can lids as shields and shoot at each other with our bows. You know, we would shoot them straight up and run underneath the arrow and get the arrow to stick. You know, we survived. We're better for it. Okay, getting back. What kind of handle am I going to shod on this bow? Now, if there was, you know, a stave made and stuff like that there and whatnot and etc. Again, another inside joke. What am I going to put on this? Well, if it was a stave made bow, I mean, you know, made scraping and stuff like that, it'd have to have a different kind of leather. But in this case, you know, commercial, I believe it's chrome tanned. But it's pretty. I don't care for the color because it's too artificial. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? And so I was experimenting. This is actually from the same piece. And if the camera picks it up, there's little variations in color. It's a little darker. It smells like cedar. What I did was I took this, a scrap, I just soaked it in bleach for a while. You know, just plain old chlorine bleach. And it changed the color. And then to dry, after I rinsed it out really good and wringed it and, you know, got the chlorine out of it, although the chlorine would volatilize, that's our word for the day, I dried it after washing it by putting it on my barbecue grill. I love that old Weber. That's a boomer type of barbecue. It's not the green egg. It's nothing fancy. You know, it's just an old Weber, rusty legs and everything. And I smoked it. Actually, because of the color variation and the smoke and stuff, I like this better. And so I'm going to do the same thing with this handle wrap. Well, not a handle. Yeah, okay, we'll call it a handle wrap. And so it's not going to be the nice uniform chrome tan. It's going to be that darker, smoky, somewhat variating. With the smell, too. Bows are an experience. And I'm going to do some minor fringing on the outside and then do some kind of wrap around it. Do some wrap around it. Maybe in a different color or something like that. But this is going to be, if it was in the hands of a young lad, I don't see how this can inspire, you know, the need to play with sticks and strings. Inspire imagination. So it's not only, you know, something that will shoot arrows nicely, I might add, but it's also a vehicle, you know, of imagination. Think of different times. Well, I guess that is it. I better photograph and pack stuff up and head to the post office and then come back down. Oh, last bit. This is so funny. One of the best all-time movies, cinematic greatness, was Rambo: First Blood. You gotta admit it, that was an awesome movie. And in the beginning, the motorcycle chase, right? He comes screaming over, jumps over a car, grabs this poor unsuspecting kid off his motorcycle and then takes off. Listen to that. Just go Rambo's motorcycle chase scene and listen to it. That's the sound of a two-stroke. He's riding a first generation, 1982 or 84 or something like that, first generation Yamaha XT250, which is all four-stroke and a wonderful bike. I'm not slamming the XT250. I'm not slamming four-strokes. Some of my best friends are four-strokes. But, you know, when you want to imbue the rage and the malevolence of a motorcycle, you got to go with the two-stroke. Or, you know, there's other ones, the Honda CBX. I think that's a CBX, a six-cylinder thing. You know, it sounds like an F1 car, but a two-stroke is a better sound for a dirt bike. Just saying it right here. Four-strokes are good. The true sound of a dirt bike is a two-stroke. They just sound angry. Angry's good. Angry has its purpose. Oh yeah, in my mind, I'm thinking politics, but I'm not going to espouse it here. I will mention that the best way to cook pork butt, which is odd, it's not a butt, it's a shoulder. It's either a butt or a shoulder. It's not a butt, it's a shoulder. And answer me that. It's over low heat for a long time. Yes, I started my butt out at 350 degrees. Common sense. Common sense. Using the right tool in the right way. After about an hour or half an hour or 45 minutes, I don't use a timer. I just open it up every so often and eat off of it and then put it back in the oven. Real way of eating. You know, I turned it down to 180 and I'll just cook it freaking all day until it just falls apart. Didn't even season it. No salt. Just drink the fat and eat the meat. Now I'm done.